up in a culture that taught me never to talk to strangers. Strangers were terrible people that would always do bad things to me. So as a result, those lessons are ingrained deeply inside me. And now as an adult, my first reaction to someone who is different or someone who is to be cautious and reserved and suspicious. Now, there was a kernel of truth, of course, and that's the problem with every myth, that you do have to watch out for certain folks whose intentions are malicious. Children can't be taking candy from strangers and can't be hopping into vans, people who they don't know offering rides. But the problem is we've taken those ideas and we've embraced them as unquestionable truth. And universalized them too, by the way. So all strangers are bad news. And then we wall ourselves in on our own like-minded people and ideas. And that is creating an issue. Fear inspires us to build barriers, physical, metaphorical barriers, to keep us safe from those who are different from ourselves. We engage in a constant cold war of isolation. Sadly, this is hurting our families and our communities and our churches, our nation. When we scream at each other with an intensity backed by our self-righteousness, we lose the ability to listen to others. Diversity allows for new ideas, which perhaps are the ideas that are needed to solve some of the problems that continue to plague us. What if we were looking at some of the things that we just can't seem to work out from a different lens? Perhaps that would give us an insight. But there's a greater problem. There's a moral problem with the stranger danger. Because it imagines that the stranger is unknown to God. If we don't know it and God knows us, then God must not know them. Or something like that. It gets distorted, doesn't it? And that's the point. We forget that God created all people. No one is a stranger to God. And more, God continues in the Bible, both in the Old and New Testament. God invites us to embrace the outsider, to take care of the alien living in your midst. It's part of Deuteronomy and the basic laws of the Torah. And look at the life of Jesus. He never discarded anyone. Instead, Jesus was about opening the hearts and the minds to embrace the ones who were pushed to the side. And later on in the book of Acts, when the disciples are out and about and they're doing the preaching and the teaching and the healing and the work of Jesus, it is the Spirit that opens the hearts of folks like Peter and Paul, so that they are going beyond the insider, the tribe of Judah, Jacob and Israel, to include the Gentiles who were a stranger to God, or at least to those older understandings of God. The second week, we talking about the Christian value of xenophilia, love of stranger, which is different than, of course, xenophobia or fear of stranger. we have to stop thinking automatically that the stranger poses a danger. We are better served cracking that myth open and leaning into the Christian value of hospitality, which seeks to embrace and welcome those who are different. Not as an oddity or as something to fear, but as a brother and a sister, as part of the same humanity created by God and loved by Christ, who gave his life for the world, for all people. So perhaps when we see a stranger, the first thing we should not jump to is fear. Perhaps the first thing we should jump to is love. How might cracking this myth open help you in your life as you interact with people from different perspectives, different parts of the world, different orientations and different political values and ideologies? How might God's hospitality and welcome make you think differently about what you say and what you do when it comes to relating to others? Some things to think about. Thanks for joining me for this segment of Cracking Open the Myths of Welcome. And we'll see you again next time.